I think one of the misunderstandings or the misconceptions really about constitutional longevity is that most of it is about these environmental effects and these accidents which sort of can happen to constitutions just in the course of major trauma outside of it. That's only part of it. I mean, there's a big part of how we write constitutions and the structure of constitutions that affects their lifespan in a very significant way. So one of those is just the level of flexibility. And this is one thing that the U.S. Constitution has, which is really working in its favor in terms of longevity. It's a very short framework constitution, so in that sense it can adapt. These are very broad brushstrokes and principles that come technological change and improvement or change in American society can adapt. So that's certainly part of it. We have judicial review, and so you can have these provisions that are written one way, interpreted in a way that allows them to adapt to the vagaries of modern life. Not all constitutions have judicial review, and of course that's something that's famously outside the U.S. Constitution. The framers may not have intended it, but that's how it's grown. So it adapts in a very subtle way through interpretation in that sense. But it is amazing that with the amendment procedure we have that it's survived as long as it has. But in some ways, if you write a short document, you don't have to worry about that. If you write a very long document, you're really out of luck if you include the amendment provisions that we have. So Brazil and India have constitutions that are 150,000 words or so. The U.S. Constitution is around 7,000 words. If you write a very specific document like those of Brazil and India that provide all this gory detail on all these little things, you're really writing yourself into a corner. And those documents have been able to survive, that is, those of India and Brazil, because they have a very easy amendment procedure. It's basically like passing legislation to get those to change. So you really have two choices if you want a document to survive. You have a very long document that's with a very easy amendment procedure, or a very short framework-like document with a very entrenched amendment procedure. So there's a very careful balance there between commitment and flexibility, and the U.S. has struck that balance very well, I think.